Welcome to an all new episode of the Hometown Haunts podcast. Jen, Christina, and I are three creatives who love the strange and supernatural as much as you do. Here at Hometown Haunts, we share stories from around the world sent in by you, our listeners. This is a very spectacular episode of the show since we're recording it just shy of our 5-year anniversary. Would we call it a Scare-a-versary? In October of 2020, Christina, Jen, and I gathered around our microphones and recorded the first episode of the Hometown Haunts podcast, then known as the Cincinnati Cabinet of Curiosities podcast. Rolls right off the tongue. It was a sister podcast or project to the comics anthology of the same name. The anthology project is completed. We finished it earlier this year, but our podcast is still going strong. We are celebrating entering into our 5th season of the show and still have so much high strangeness to share with you all. With thanks to you, our wonderful listeners, we can make this occasion by we could mark this occasion. We can make it too, by sharing stories sent in by you. But first, we're going to catch up with one another since it's been about 3 months since I think we recorded the show. It's been a very busy summer. So, with that, I am Kat Cloco. We've got Jen Kohler and Christina Wald. Yay! I wrote a longer intro than normal. Yay!
Yay!
Well, it's sort of like, when you're watching TV and they have, the wrap up.
Yeah.
Exactly
previous
that.
Episodes.
Yeah. It's the previous 5 years of this podcast. Welcome, everyone.
These are the snippets that are pertinent to this season.
Exactly.
But to enter into the show like we usually do, I'm Kat Cloco, your host of the show. I am a cartoonist and I love things spooky and macabre. I've also written 2 history books about hauntings. We have Jen Kohler, who's a fantastic photographer, and Christina Wald, a wonderful kidlit author. And you are part of the Urban Sketchers International and so many things. I don't think I could bullet point list them. It would take an hour.
Yeah.
It's my insanity.
No,
I don't think you rest ever.
I don't think you sleep. I think you're like a Ichiro Oda and only sleep like 4 hours a day.
Right?
Like a bat.
Yeah.
I wish I could get by on 4 hours, but I can't get by on 4 hours.
I don't think Oda does either, but that's a conversation for a different day. So,
well, that's a good segue into news.
Yes. It's been a very busy summer. I guess I'll start. I'm teaching 2 art classes with Happy Time Studio here in Issaquah, Washington. They are how to make comics for kids 8 to 12 years old, and they are nearly sold out. My November classes are sold out. My December classes have a few spots, and we are working on making some for January. Also, I am still working on Dinosaur Necromancer. It's dinosaurs. It's cat mecha. It's crazy comics for kids, like middle grade readers. And then also on Hex Me Again, which is a monstrous retelling of Pride and Prejudice, which you can read twice a week on my website, redcatcomics.com. It has witches and monsters. Sorry.
Oh, and you said something about the manga award next April?
Yes. So, so wow, I sound excited. Dinosaur Necromancer is the project I've been working on and off of for 3 years. Listeners all know about it by now. I'm just like, yep, shut up about a cat. But I'm also going to submit it into the 20th annual International Manga Award in April. So I'm excited about that. It's a bit of a love letter project for manga of the 90s. So we'll see how far it gets. I'm not expecting to win. I don't even think I'll get honorable mention. But I have been writing it. And one reason why it's taken so long is I've been writing it all in English and then translating it into Japanese.
Oh.
And although because when I submit it, I will submit it in English, but I will send in a little addendum all in Japanese of all the script and everything. But all the sound effects are in Japanese with English written on the side, like when you read anything from the Shonen Jump app. I am not flipping the panels, so it's still going to be read left to right like you're
Oh,
reading.
interesting.
Yeah, it is very much a fusion comic. I've been reading a bunch of entries that came from Europe and South America, and that's what they did. They did not flip the pages, but they did translate everything into Japanese.
Hmm.
And the entire point is that it's people who don't live in Japan making manga. And so it's not going to be always read right to left like you would in Japan and other parts of East Asia. And that's the charm of it. And this is actually a an award that is put on by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Hmm.
And so it is a Japanese government award.
Oh,
Oh,
And
wow.
cool.
yeah, and if whomever wins gets to go to Tokyo for the awards ceremony.
That
And
would be
I
Ooh.
worth it.
know, yeah, that is really fun. You go in December, so it's actually kind of nice that time of year in Tokyo. But Ken Akamatsu, who did Love Hina and Negima, which are two manga that are long-standing series, he is actually on the board of
Oh,
the judging panel for this, and they usually have uh, the judges are from the industry, and they're always a
Nice.
mystery, except for
oh, wow.
Ken. So yeah, fun. It's fun, and we'll
So,
see.
so what? And this is probably a really sticky question that you know is going to require a longer answer than we have. But if we're going to bullet point it, what delineates something a comic as manga? Like, do they have? I know. That's a really tough question, and I
Oh
was
my
just wondering
god.
if there is like, so when they're giving an international manga award, is there a bullet point? Like, is there a list of considerations in the rules?
It has to be at least 16 pages
Okay.
and available in Japanese, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. So it's quite open.
It's very open because this is a question I get a lot from young creators, from creators of all ages, I really should say, is what makes manga manga? And the great answer to that is everything can be manga. And
Hmm.
also everything could be comics because it's all sequential storytelling. Um, so there is a writing style called Kisho Tenketsu, which is like it's instead of a 3 arc story, it is a 4 arc story.
Ah.
And it is much more common in East Asian literature, which is one reason why Miyazaki and Ghibli movies hit different than like a
Hmm.
Disney movie,
Hmm.
because they're using Kisho Tenketsu to write the story. And also, conflict doesn't have to always be man versus man, man versus self, man versus nature. There can be conflict that is very mundane compared to
Hmm.
some more traditional Western storytelling techniques. Of course, now with the internet being 30 years old, all of this is now a gray area because you get influences from everybody. And that's influenced manga. It's also influencing bande dessinée or BDs. It's definitely influencing American comics. I also hate to tell you that when you go to Japan, things can be shelved in the manga section that were made by Marvel, and things can be put in the comic section that was made by Kodansha. It's by whomever is just doing the book shelving. And there are so many different styles. It's not necessarily this kind of V-shaped chin with gigantic eyes that you think of when you see something manga or anime, because Junji Ito immediately punches a hole into that uh, thought style of it has to be an aesthetic. Or I'm forgetting the man, but the guy who does Fist of the North Star or Berserk or Vampire Hunter D, like all of these styles are vastly different. So
Hmm.
you can't say it's by aesthetic. So generally, it's by whomever is shelving the property at the bookstore that day. And
Hmm.
that's not the answer that a lot of people want to hear.
Is it, does manga mean something? Is how did the word? I mean, that's sort of a.
Oh, it does. And
I was
you
just wondering if it like meant comics or something. Like
no,
sometimes.
that's komiku.
Uh,
Komiku is comic. let me. I have the kanji in my head, but okay. So, um, manga is made up of two kanji, which mang, which is cartoon, or could also mean corrupt, or involuntarily, or in spite of oneself, because kanji can be put together in different combinations to make different words. And then ga, which is a brushstroke or picture. So in the most, if you want to reduce it to its simplest translation, it literally means cartoon picture. But there are other words which are now escaping me because I wasn't prepared to talk about comics
Sorry
today.
about that. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole. I was
Yeah,
just curious about it because it's
no,
very
it's a good
interesting.
question, and I need to be prepared because I'm going to be talking to a bunch of 8-year-olds about this, and they always have this question. But it's been a while. There are more than just the term manga for comics. Like you can have shonen and shoujo, which is by, or seinen or josei, which are different age categories for comics. Um, Genmai is like, or Genman is for foreign comics, Gaikoku manga. So those are all comics that are made from other countries and brought in. And there is something called the Gaimon Award, which is Gaikoku Manga Show. And sorry, I'm moving that. And that is made specifically for comics and publications made outside Japan, but published in Japan. So you cannot be a Japanese mangaka that is publishing for like Shonen Jump or Shonen Sunday or Kodansha or Shaogakukan or Square Enix. You can't win that award. You can only do it if you're working for like Image. Like Saga has won it a few times. A
Oh wow.
Star Wars manga won one year. And so there are these awards for foreign made manga. And now there's a lot of foreigners that are mangaka that are or mangaka assistants working in Tokyo. So I
Oh,
think
that's so interesting.
one's named, I think it's Felipe Smith is one of them. He's much more vocal. He and yeah, there's a lot more assistants now that are from around the world now assisting Japanese mangaka. So it's a much more international endeavor than people traditionally think it is. And that's
That's good to
I
know.
yeah, and so I am throwing my hat into the ring after 20 years of this award existing, and finally actually
Finally, you're doing it. You're going for
finally
it.
doing it.
Good. I
So
believe in you, Kat.
That's so cool.
yatte mio, like we'll see how we do. So yeah, what else is Jen? Christina, what are you up to?
Oh, this and that.
No, you're
um,
doing bigger things than what I'm doing, Christina.
well, I
You
don't know
you
Same.
about that,
were
but
around the world.
Yeah.
that's what this summer I've been out of town so much. But now I'm back in town pretty much for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And but next year in 2026, I'm going to be teaching a workshop in Morocco, and it's going to be from the 20th to the 27th of September, and I'm really looking forward to it. People are already signing up for it, so it's
Awesome.
pretty exciting. And when this comes out, it will come out before we're doing it like an informational Zoom meeting on November 9th, but it feels like this one's going to sell out pretty fast because there's so many people interested in it. So I'm really excited about that. And then I have a couple new books out, Denny, Joe, and Pinto at the Rodeo, which um, books like that, I end up learning a lot about stuff I never thought I'd learn about.
Mm-hmm.
Like how to hold a lasso. I mean, and that will be important probably at some point in my life, but I learned what different rodeo competitions there are and how they're judged. And actually, I'll probably be doing a third book in this series next year. And then I have a new Kew Gardens book that just came out. It's in the shop. Just came out in the shop like a month ago, and now it's on the website.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know if for those that are interested in getting a copy of the first two Kew Gardens books. You can get them on the website, but I don't know if they ship to the US. Shipping has become so expensive to the United States from Europe.
Yeah.
or and vice versa, that I don't know. I mean, it's more like if you
Takes a
happen to,
while too.
yeah, it's more if you happen to be going to London, stop at Kindergarten and buy a copy there. And then I have a new book called Der Klein Doktor, which I don't know how to pronounce that. That's German. But that means the little doctor. And it's a YA book. This doctor in Switzerland that I guess is apparently a TikTok influencer wrote a book
Oh,
for kids about health and how the body works. And so I illustrated
cool.
it, and it just came out.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, it was really fun to work on. And I've got more books lined up for the next year or so. And then, but I've actually lately did a couple new Crone cartoons too. So
Yes, I've seen
I've been
those.
seeing those. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hoping to work those back in. It depends if I can, especially since it deals with getting older, I need to like start,
Yeah.
doing more.
Yeah.
So I've been writing down little ideas in my, I have a little notebook I
Those
write
kind of
down.
comics are necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. It's a good outlet. I have fun doing them.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to I write down ideas as I think of them.
Yeah.
And so and then I mine them when I do them. But yeah, I think it speaks to a appreciative audience. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen, we're going to need more sketchbooks.
Yes, that's
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
I can make you sketchbooks.
And
Yay.
we're hoping to have the next. We're working on a travelogue about my trip to Buenos Aires last year in Argentina,
Awesome.
and I'm working on that with my friend Gordana, who she's the admin for the Atlanta chapter, and we traveled around Argentina after the Urban Sketcher Symposium last year, and that was pretty fun. And we're going to set it up like those old books of the 50s where it has two covers and you flip it. So
Oh.
she's going to have her travelogue and my travelogue, so it's going to be the same story but two different ways.
Oh, cool.
So we're trying something novel with this. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
She's,
Well, that's
she's
fun.
Yeah, she's coming over this month, and we're going to scan in all of her artwork and kind of start putting the layout together and everything.
Right
Yeah.
on.
So that's what's going on with me. What's going on with you, Jen?
Well, not much. I have been still don't have a job. I need to get a job. But what I really want to be doing is working on artwork and stuff like that. So all year I have been watching YouTube videos on bookbinding and junk journaling and anything in between. And bookbinding is always something I've been interested in. So I kind of want to focus my creative outlet on that and make sketchbooks, notebooks. I even might want to venture into making my own kind of papers, maybe digitals. I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. So this year I've been learning and gathering supplies. I just need to start doing stuff so I can start making money and not have to go and get a real job.
Right. Because those are hard to come by right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I might be SOL if I don't find one.
Yeah. I do love junk sketchbooks.
There's
Those
so
are
many
fun.
videos of them, like on
Yeah.
TikTok and stuff.
It's
Yeah,
insane
I use one.
what some of these artists do with them.
Yeah, junk journals.
Yeah.
I love it because it gives me different paper textures and colors to play with.
Yeah.
So I will definitely buy junk journals from you, Jen.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I actually need a new one because my old one is almost full.
okay. Well, I don't know if you guys are familiar with traveler's notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Like the long skinny ones?
Yeah. Where they can be anything you want. You basically have a cover and you shove your notebooks in there with different papers.
Yeah.
And I want to make those too with different types of paper.
That'd
like
be
for
fun.
bullet journaling, for regular writing journaling, for art journaling. So like a mixed media paper. So I guess my interest really is in the paper.
Yeah.
But I also want to give people the options to create what they want for themselves and what will work for them, because I don't know. You know? I don't know. It's fascinating, and I want to help people I don't know, create what's the fuck? Oh my god.
Be creative.
Yes, and have their creative outlet, something along those lines. My brain
Mhm.
does not work anymore because I'm old.
It's also late.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, we'll go with that.
It's late. Well,
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And yeah, if you want a notebook or just a plain old regular notebook, I can make you that too. I
yes.
can make composition notebooks. Those look like really like fun. So
Mhm. Yay.
yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
It's, I'm picky about my notebooks.
Most
I'm
people
sure
are.
other artists, yeah.
Yeah.
Also note, friend of the podcast, Jay Callaghan, has a new comic book out called Goatman.
That looks really cool.
And I want to get him on the show to talk about Goatman.
Oh,
That'd
good.
be
He went to
great.
the
Yay.
Goatman Festival and everything. So
I know. I thought
Uh-huh.
that was happening. I mean, is it an anthology or is it a single story?
I think it's a single story.
Oh,
It's really,
nice.
really nicely done. I was reading through the few pages. I haven't been able to read all of it yet. Sorry, Jay. But it looks great, and I like the artist he worked with and everything. So
That's
Kat,
cool.
did
Is
I
he
see
doing-
that you're in Grassman? You have a
Yes, I am
Grassman
in
store?
Grassman. I
Okay.
am in Grassman. I did 2 stories for it.
Okay.
2, 3? I forgot how many pages I did.
Okay.
But yeah, and
Yay.
that was a fun project to work on as well.
Is
It
he
was
doing a
kind
whole series?
I think he's trying to do a whole bunch of different cryptids. Yes.
That's
But that's
cool.
a good question to ask him when we have him on the show.
Yes,
Yay.
that's a good idea. Let's have him on the show.
And also for our listeners, if you know any creative, or if you're a creative yourself that has some sort of hometown haunt of your own to talk about in addition to your projects, let us know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be great. And this is a good segue into ghost stories.
Yeah, we got a bunch of ghost
Woo.
stories. Thank you, all our listeners, for sending them in and giving us permission to read them on the show. And our first story is from Josh.
Shall I go ahead and read it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and for well, I don't know if we want to.
I made a little addendum because I dug into
saw
the
that. That's
history
fine.
of
It
it.
was exciting. So
Yeah.
Josh is staying at Governor Skilled Nursing Facility in NYC, and he says it is very haunted. Although he is only 23, most of the patients are geriatric, recovering from strokes, falls, and other ailments that require rehab. He says several patients reported seeing groups of children in their rooms and even pressed their call buttons to ask the nurses why they are there. And so, like he said, that you could even, he's heard them saying there, they call and, you in this thing, it's when they need medicine or they need help or whatever, and they say, why are these children in here? And he said after he heard these stories, he had one of those dreams where he was sure he was awake, and he said 2 children ran into his room, one in a red shirt, and when he looked at them more closely, they had no eyes. He was so startled that he woke up, and he didn't realize he was asleep. He woke up scared and unsettled, and he said it really freaked him out. And so we could talk a little bit about that, but he also said the elevator is supposedly haunted, and that there is a legend that someone was cut in half by it. Now you did some research on it.
I did
and
some
you want to talk
research
a little
on
bit
it.
about that.
But okay. Do you want me to take it up from here?
Yeah.
All right.
Because
So
what he said was someone was cut in half by it, but that's not what I found. But you said
no. So I actually found the incident, and so it happened. So in our notes, everyone, we have a note from Kat, and then I'll read it. There are 2 Governor medical facilities. Not confusing at all. In Lower East Side, New York City. The Governor Health, where Josh is, was built in 1972, and boy howdy, there was a lot of fighting about that. And Governor Hospital, now Governor Court, is located was the second hospital location and is located on Water Street, and you can still walk by it today. The accident that he was referring to in the elevator happened in 1995, and it happened at the Water Street location, which is now apartments for homeless and special needs adults, not the Madison Street Hospital, which he's living in. Now, I could not find what was on that space for the new 1972 Governor Health Systems building where he's at right now. I have no idea what was there before. All I could find, the only reference I could find was that back in the early days of New York City, it was when I think it was still New Amsterdam, it was all the property was owned by English loyalists, and all that property was taken by basically the city when we became a country.
No.
So other than that, I don't know who was there, but since it's in New York City, it's been inhabited for a very long time.
Mhm.
Throughout beforehand, before the city, early days, and even to now. The other
Mhm.
fun fact is that the Water Street Governor Hospital was the first location for a tuberculosis ward in the United States. It was built in 1901, and the iconic curved wings of the hospital were due to the belief that TB bacteria lived and thrived in corners, and you can't have TB in a room if there are no corners.
Wow, that's
How
some
did
logic
that
there.
get started?
Well, I mean, I would have thought that was crazy, but considering what's going on with health stuff now, I mean,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
Boy, yeah,
I mean, people think crazy things,
they sure
yeah,
do.
yeah. So, and then
even
the
when,
deadly elevator plunge. If I'm
oh,
yeah,
except where it's highlighted.
yeah. So as a nursing home patient was killed, it was a resident of the city-run nursing home died yesterday after the elevator he was being transported in suddenly dropped one floor just hours after an outside repair crew had said the elevator was safe. So Chung Lee, 82, was pronounced dead at New York Downtown Hospital after being rushed there by ambulance from Governor's skilled nursing facility in Lower Manhattan around 10:15 a.m. Hospital officials said an aide was trying to wheel a gurney carrying Lee from inside the elevator to a sixth-floor hallway when the elevator suddenly started to move. Quoted, the elevator drifted downward and came to a rest one floor below. The patient, we believe, fell off the stretcher, said Alan Rovenblut, governor, uh, executive director. I heard screaming and a loud noise like someone was throwing chairs around. I thought it was a fight, said one of the facility workers who was in the sixth floor office. The worker at the nurse's aide escorting Lee was also in the worker said the nurse's aide escorting Lee was also in the elevator when it fell and was later treated for neck injuries and traumatic stress. According to city emergency medical service sources, Lee's head was badly injured when he fell off the gurney. Witnesses told EMS workers Lee's head had been partly outside the elevator when it
Oh,
started to fall. Oh,
Oh,
poor Mr. Lee.
yeah.
Oh no. The elevator, let's see. Oh, let's see. I lost my place when I looked away from the Lee died of his injuries suffered in the fall or from a heart attack. The city
Oh,
medical examiner is investigating and an autopsy is planned.
yeah, I mean, that sounds bad. I mean, it's not as dramatic as the cut in half.
No, that would be urban
that's still
legend
pretty
That
bad,
taking.
sounded
though.
like an urban legend to me. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Has
but
anyone ever died from being cut in half in an elevator? Has that actually ever happened?
that's a good question.
That is an excellent question. I would say the Mythbusters would say no.
Okay.
But what I do want to say is, I'm so sorry, Lee family. That is a
Yeah.
traumatic way to lose your family member.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that is really horrifying. Even if it wasn't as dramatic as the rumor.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
it's still
glad
a
it
pretty
wasn't.
dramatic way to go.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Poor
So
man.
no one expects your elevator to just
No.
lurch down an entire floor.
Mm-mm.
I mean, unless you're riding the Tower of Terror, and that's to be expected,
Mhm.
but you don't want that in a medical facility.
No.
But wow, from Josh, getting back to Josh's story, it
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of the ghost stories that are circulated around It's in Estes Park, Colorado. Why did I
Mm.
just forget?
Is that
Stanley
where the
Hotel?
The
shiny was?
Stanley Hotel.
Yeah. Do
It
they have
is
stories like that?
they have tons of stories like that, and I stayed in one of the most haunted rooms and had little kids running in and out of it the
Really?
entire weekend I was there. I just um for
Did they
me
have
what
eyes?
they did have eyes,
Okay.
but I don't know why they would show up without eyes in his dream other than to be shocking. Maybe I've
Poor
just watched
Josh.
Beetlejuice recently. But like the dead just trying to shock the living kind of.
Mhm.
Well, if they're kids, they probably have fun messing with you.
Yes, yes they do.
Well, do you think that
Um
they're kids or entities?
Mm.
and that's another good question.
Ooh.
And because it's very sad whenever you think of kids being stuck as ghosts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why do you choose to stay here? I know I encountered that a lot at Penhurst when we went to the nursery ward. Is why are there children's spirits here? Why aren't they moving on? What's keeping them here? Lots of good questions. Um, so there, I think that's one reason why people like to think that they may be entities and not actually children's spirits. I don't think they're demonic though. I
No,
know they were
no.
missing their eyes. I don't think they're going to actually harm anyone. I think they just like, no pun intended, joshing around. And and they just that's what it strikes me as
So they
from
could
the
be
way they
more
reported it.
like being impish, like where they're
Yeah.
bugging all these people that are kind of, because I mean the people there are like, when you go through, most of them are not in good shape. Like they're
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
they've had a stroke or they've had a fall, and they're being like, they have a lot of very high tech equipment to help people walk again or be able to be
Mhm.
mobile, or and so a lot of these people aren't in the best shape that are there.
Yeah.
um
I
and
do
so
I do want to ask this question for our listeners is what kind of drugs are also being administered to the
true.
Mm.
patients there? And that also will influence what they're seeing and how they're seeing it. So,
Yeah.
um
Yes, I forgot about that. There is, obviously you're going to be on sort of a cocktail probably of different
and it
things
depends
depending
on
what's
the
wrong with you.
person. Like
Yeah.
I don't think Josh is on any antipsychotics or anything.
No, no.
Not that I'm a pharmacist and would know that, but probably just pain reliever and
Mhm, mhm.
yeah. Um and not detailing what the other patients are seeing. If the nurses are also and the aides are also witnessing the stuff though, that would be interesting to know.
That would
And
be
that's
interesting. I'll have to ask him if nurses have seen them too, because that
yeah,
would be that would be sort of a wrinkle in it, because that would mean there definitely was, something.
yeah.
Um, and
And
now this makes me want to go back to the Stanley Hotel, because I visited there, but I didn't see any ghosts.
oh, I
But I
want to
don't
go back
usually
to
see ghosts.
Stanley too.
You
But
didn't mean that might be a good meeting place for us because I'd like to go back. I just
Yeah,
yes.
walked
I
through
love.
it. I didn't get to stay there.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
stay there either. We just
I
drove
did.
by. Uh,
Yeah.
Did you actually do
Um,
a ghost hunt there, or was it you just?
I was there as a guest speaker for an
Ooh.
event, and the event put me up in the room, and by just fun chance, I got one of the fourth floor rooms where all the kids like to run up and down the hallway. And oh boy, do they like to run up and down the hallway. And I ended up leaving my TV to play Nick at Night,
Mm.
like on low volume, so it wouldn't disturb anybody else, just to get the kids to do something besides run up and down the hallways.
And
Mhm.
did they?
Yes, I had the entire night at least 4 to 6 different small children of various generations watching I Love Lucy and all the other shows.
Huh.
That's a great anecdote.
Yeah, but yeah, hot just tip. If you're in a haunted hotel and the kids run around, just turn on the TV and like mute it or put it on low volume.
Mm.
You'll sleep through the night.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like to sleep with the TV on, but they didn't know it was like maybe placating restless
Yeah.
spirits.
It could.
Huh.
Like my what I do is I'll do that and then also just put on noise canceling headphones.
Hmm.
I don't usually sleep with a light on in my room. So it's really weird for me to
This
put
one's
on the
from
TV.
Art. And we've had some similar stories before. A classmate in college visited me in a dream as I took an afternoon nap, he says. He graduated the year before me, and I knew it was his spirit. Later that evening, a mutual friend told me that he died in a car wreck 3 days earlier. I did a painting about it. So
Oh,
obviously he's an
wow.
artist too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said he's got a lot of stories like that, and sort of with the thin veil and that sort of thing. And it seems like this is this a classification of hauntings where somebody visits you when they die? And you've had it happen as well, right?
Yeah. I've had it happen to me twice. 3 times? Anyway, yeah, they're known as bedside hauntings, even though
Ah,
really no one's being haunted in this case, or a bedside visitation.
Mm-hmm.
And different beliefs will call it different things. Some will be kind of like, we'll say it's an angel coming, or ghosts, a family member, and it's just people that are really close to you will come visit and sometimes
Hmm.
talk to you. And I know I've had that happen definitely twice, I think 3 times. Most recent one was 2 years ago.
Hmm.
So, while I was brushing my teeth. So you don't always have to be doing the most elegant of things when they pop in to say hi. But dream is pretty common,
Uh-huh.
because it's believed that it's an easy connector between the two worlds. Um,
It,
yeah.
I have, after mom died, I had a lot of dreams about her.
Mhm.
In particular, I don't know if this could be my antidepressants too, because they like to give me really weird dreams.
Mhm.
But I kept dreaming that she had died and they buried her, but she really wasn't dead, and they realized it after they buried her, and
Oh.
they unburied her, brought her back to life. She got a lung transplant, but she was still smoking.
Oh.
what's an interesting.
I don't know what that means. It's also very similar to an X-Files episode where Mulder had died, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, he had died, but he really wasn't dead, and they dug him up and brought him back to life after he'd been buried for like 3 months or something
I
like
mean,
that.
we covered that story in Kentucky.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, just a few episodes ago for people listening, and basically in order. Um yeah, it's a pretty that's a pretty common worry and anxiety.
Oh, that
And
they're not really dead.
that, I mean, the corpse spells were invented
Yeah.
for that reason. So,
Oh, can I tell you another story
sure.
about my mom? Okay, so in September we went up to Michigan to spread her ashes.
Mhm.
It's been 5 years. We figured it was time. My aunt and uncle live up on the lake up there in Traverse City.
Mhm.
So, we go out there, we spread our ashes, we say goodbye, whatever. And then the next day, I decided to look for Petoskey rocks,
Mhm.
which are a special kind of rock up there. It's because of the glacier, it has fossils in it.
Mhm.
So I'm walking, the water's not really deep, and I see something shiny in there. I'm like, "Ooh, shiny! What's this?" So I go over there and I pick it up, and it says Spring Grove, Cincinnati, Ohio, and I go,
Oh,
"Huh, what are the chances that oh, this was in Mom's ashes?" I just walked through Mom.
Oh.
wow.
And it was this little round metal disc, and it said Spring Grove, Cincinnati, Ohio on it, and on the other side it had a number. And I think it was a number to ensure that the ashes went with the right
It's the cremation
person.
tag.
Yeah.
You
I
got
mean,
a cremation tag.
yeah. And like neither my sister or I saw it fall out, like when we were, So now I have it. It's sitting with the little bit of ashes I have of her sitting on my.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I just thought it was funny.
That is
I'm like, oh.
funny. Oh.
I tried to avoid walking in her the day before, and apparently I just did anyway. Which she was probably dispersed, but still.
Wow.
Anywho.
That's a great story.
That
Yeah.
is a really great story.
I just thought it was funny.
I mean, the dream feels like like you said, you've seen other stuff similar, but that almost feels like a like sort of a desire to see them again too, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what if they could come back and get better or whatever?
Yeah.
For me, I think it was anxiety about her smoking, and she'd still be here had she stopped smoking. Could she have gotten a lung transplant? Probably, but she still would have smoked, I think. And yeah, it was,
Yeah.
I think it was my brain working through all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it and also it matters if Art felt comforted after that
I hope he did.
interaction.
Or,
Yeah,
or when
Yeah.
that happens, is that usually what they're trying to do? Is
I
comfort you or
think
just let you
so.
know? Because you said it was 2 years ago. That was pretty recent. That was during the
Yeah.
run of the show. So
Yeah.
who was it that contacted you?
It was a family member,
Mm.
and we knew they were very sick, and I was basically waiting for the call from other family members to let me know that they had passed. And I was just brushing my teeth rather mundanely around 11 p.m. and they just walked through the door, and I was just like, "Well, if I'm seeing you, I know what this means." And
So they
they're
didn't
like,
say anything, or did they?
"Well," they were like, "You really were psychic. I didn't believe you, but"
They really said that? So that's why
they were just like that, and I was just like, "Yup." And they're like, "Well, I love you, Kate." And I'm like, "I love
Aw.
you too, and I'll see you later." And
Aw.
they're like that, and they walked back into my bedroom and just faded out. And then
Aw.
about an hour later, I got the notification from family members. And I have not told them this. I
Yeah.
would weird them out too much, and they don't listen to the show. So,
Well,
but
how is it that they know to go to you, or how do they choose the people to show themselves to after that, do you think?
usually it's deep connection. Like this was a direct family member.
Right.
Um, and in the case with John and Chris before, when I was in high school, it was we had a connection. We did events together. John also loved to play with my car stereo for months afterwards. And because I used to drive him home from orchestra practice.
Okay.
And because I was in band and he was in orchestra, and we had the same practice schedule, and we grew up with one another. Um, and they had that message too, for me to tell my friend that they were okay. So they had a clear message to send, and I was the messenger.
Mhm.
I also feel as if it's because on the other side, people like me are rare, and we're like little lighthouses.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Oh, look, she can see us." And they just
Shiny.
float. I think they talk about that on the show Ghosts,
I was going to
basically.
say that in
Yeah.
the movie Ghost, that's kind of
Yeah.
how it portrayed it too. Like when
Yeah.
they sense that you can see them, they all show up.
Yes, and boy howdy, do they. And I think the comedy Ghost gets it really right, especially in the first season when they're like walking around and she's talking to people and they're like, "You could see me." It's kind of like that.
Mm.
And but yeah, it's when someone you love comes and visits you after they died, or to let them know that they've died, let you know that they've died. It's out of love. It's not supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
So be comforted by this action. Don't be afraid of it. So
It's kind of on that connection too.
yeah. Yeah. And as for that, the next story is from Amy. So it seems my grandparents' house was haunted. Now, I'm not sure how or why, since my grandpa had it built on a plot of land that used to be a field back in 1949, about 2 miles outside of Brookville, but apparently my grandma once saw a full bodied apparition in the utility laundry room of a woman in a Victorian era dress, and my mom says that oftentimes they would see grandma's ferns and houseplants move as if someone were dragging their hand through the leaves, with no drafts in the house at the time. Mom also said that once when she was pregnant with me, she was sitting on the sofa feeling rather upset about something, and suddenly the sofa cushion next to her moved as if someone sat down next to her. Fast forward to the early 2010s. My grandparents were both gone by then, grandma in 1978 and grandpa in 2004. Mom owned the house at the time but hadn't gone around to selling it, so she let my daughter and a friend of hers live there. That's when things really started to get interesting. Apparently, the spirit did not like my daughter's friend at all. Bullet point list of activities that happened. First, she had one of those cheap, long, thin dressing mirrors in her room, and one day it crashed to the floor, breaking into a bazillion pieces. Next, her iPod would turn on randomly and play through a speaker. Then things would appear to have moved from that place they had just put them. And then finally, if they were in the rooms, they could hear people talking in the front rooms of their house, like the kitchen, the dining room, or the living room were in the front, and the two bedrooms and bathroom were in the back. Nothing usually happened to my daughter other than boxes being rearranged in her room while she was gone.
Hmm.
One night, however, she came home from work, exhausted. She hung her cardigan on the doorknob of her bedroom door and fell asleep. The next morning, she woke up to find her cardigan was neatly laid over her, as if somebody covered her with it to make sure she was warm enough while she slept. That freaked her out, and she said out loud that she didn't care if it was in the house, but her room was off limits. After that, nothing happened in her room. One day, she and her housemate were in the kitchen when something flew off the dining room table and landed across the room. They saw it happen, since there was an arched opening between the kitchen and the dining room. My daughter had had enough of it and called out, telling it to knock it off. She said it was then that she heard what sounded like an exasperated sigh, as if someone was standing right next to her. That was the last straw for her. They left and moved out soon after. Mom sold the house a few years later. It's since been renovated and sold twice, from what I've read on Zillow. Makes me wonder if the renovations had irritated the spirits there. As a side note, my sister-in-law said she talked to it once. Said she talked to it once and that it explained that it wasn't a ghost, as it had never been a living human being. Fun. I have a little asterisk there. She said it explained that it was some sort of guardian and that it was there to keep the area safe and keep any darkness or evil away. I don't know if that's true or not, and if it is, then I'm wondering what the apparition was that my grandma saw. Thank you,
Well, and
Amy. That was a fantastic story.
what did it have against the roommate?
Yeah,
there's a
what
lot
did
to,
it not like?
there's a lot to unpack here.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. Yes, there is.
Fine. I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. So, wow. Yeah. Yeah, the grandparents' house was haunted.
A bit.
A little bit. Wow, yeah. That it sounds more like it was haunted by family members trying to take care of the granddaughter,
Mhm.
really. The
Maybe this
exasperated
friend was a
sigh.
bad influence. Maybe there was something about this friend they just didn't like.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
may have known something that the granddaughter didn't know.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they saw somebody who was in a Victorian era dress. I want to know what that dress looked like. But because a lot of eyewitnesses will confuse Victorian and Edwardian dress, and
Mm.
Victorian had a lot of styles within its era. Like it, so I really want to know what that dress looked like. Did it have bustles? Were there mutton chop sleeves? I know I've gone about this before, so details. The details. But yeah, it's I like the cardigan being placed on
Yeah. That was
the
sweet.
granddaughter. That's very sweet. I like the sass of the sigh.
Mhm.
That truly is some maternal energy right there.
Mhm.
I'm not surprised that a property like that has gotten sold and resold. That happened to um my partner's grandparents' house. That thing is on the market at least once every 2 years.
Oh
Now it
wow.
has some really bad entities living in it.
Yeah.
So they really are scaring the bejesus out of whomever buys the bungalow. But I don't know. Renovations are known to stir up activity, especially with persnickety spirits who like things
Yeah.
a certain way. And then the sister-in-law talking to it and explained that it wasn't a ghost and it had never been a human being. That does not mean it was demonic. Like
Right.
I read that and immediately smirked the
Mhm.
first time when we were going through all the stories, because I have run into non-human entities on investigations as well. And usually they are land I'll guess we could call them elementals.
Mm.
So like spirits of the land, spirits
Yeah.
of the
That
trees.
seems like that's very much an Asian, but not just Asian. I think that a lot of old Celtic, like pagan, like I was just listening to some stuff about Irish mythology and stuff. It seems like rivers, and actually when we were in Romania, one was talking about two rivers there being brothers,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
that's
cool.
like a folk thing, and so that seems like that's that sort of earth myth.
Yeah.
I associate it with like Japanese myth, but it sounds like it's very much a worldwide myth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Japan they're known as kami. They're
Mhm.
spirits of earthly things. So like property or land would have earth spirits attached, tree spirits. I mean, Greek and Roman mythology, First Nation mythology also talks about spirits of earth and water and the sky. This is not a new thought. It's just not really present in Christianity at all. But I've definitely run into non-human, essentially benign entities.
Mm.
And usually they're just there to make sure that the house and the land and everything are safe. They're the kind of the caretakers. Think of them as like nymphs,
Yeah.
essentially.
Mhm.
And
Well, that's kind of cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so whenever something nice happens around your property, yeah, it's
Say
probably
thank you.
say thank you. Yeah. Like we had a windstorm and a tree branch managed to miraculously miss both of our skellies and our house. And I just looked up at the trees and said, "Thank you so
Thank you.
much
Yes.
for not
Protecting me.
yeah, not landing on anything."
Yeah, that's
Um
kind of nice. I mean, it's so maybe like it may have been a land entity, or it's almost
yeah.
like saying ascribing sort of, I don't want to say souls, but like spirits to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spirit of things.
So what does
Now,
it mean when a tree lands on your car?
I mean, I was about to say it's not so lucky for the people that get hit by limbs.
Yeah.
And that's where the belief can kind of go pear-shaped quickly. It's
Yeah.
like, well, yes, thankfully it didn't hit my house, but it took out my neighbor's car.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
did they make it mad? So like in Japan at New Year's we would put out offerings
Mm.
at doorways next to the stove and oven, like
Mhm.
anywhere where spirits would be, to make them happy so they
Yeah.
wouldn't have disasters occur on our
Yeah.
property. I know in other countries it's called libations. You will
Mhm.
give offerings,
Mhm.
usually of liquor,
Mhm.
and to appease spirits. So there are
Cream
other
for fairies.
cream for fairies.
Mhm.
You'll see pennies left on headstones sometimes. That's a
Mm.
type of offering. Buddhism, you'll leave offerings on a daily altar, basically, for the family members. There's a lot of different ways that offerings to appease the dead. I mean, we're getting close to Dios de los Muertos, which is
Mhm.
another version of this in a large scale, where
Yeah.
you're leaving offerings at the ofrenda for your family members. And
Mhm.
if you don't, that's not so great for them.
No.
And
Yeah.
Taoism has a similar situation.
Mhm.
Buddhism has a similar situation. In August, you'll have your death month and you'll do Obon or the other um, ceremonies to appease the dead to make sure that big disasters don't happen to you.
Yeah.
So,
Man, why did
That's
we
really
interesting.
lose
interesting.
that?
Sorry?
Like, why did we lose that? We could use that now.
We
Well,
really never have
Had
lost
it.
it.
So
Like in the US, we kind of do our ceremonies and rituals in a slightly different
different way.
way,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
that's one thing that I mean,
That's
it
like
leads into
lighting
an
a
entire
candle in a
different.
church.
That's another one, yes. And yes, it's different religions function in different ways in which that we ritualistically give offerings to make sure things don't happen to us.
Yeah.
And in Christianity, we tend to pray to either God or Mary to make sure that those things don't happen to us.
Mhm.
Other religions have multiple gods and you do different offerings or the dead to your own family members.
Mhm.
And each one of these has a different variation depending where you are in the world. So that also makes it fun. My
Yeah.
favorite is Taoist hell money, where you're
Yeah.
burning small paper items to send back to your family members on the other side, so they can have a nice car or lots of money or whatnot.
Yeah,
I love that one. That's
I
my
love
personal
that.
favorite.
I can't remember if this was an episode of a TV show but I remember either watching or reading a story of a grandmother who wasn't getting like the same amount that her friends in the afterlife were, so her status was dropping.
Yes.
I'm like, man, you're dead. You shouldn't have to worry about that, but
in Taoism, you have a bureaucratic afterlife
yeah.
with the Jade Emperor managing everything. It's I don't know. Yeah.
It's fascinating to me.
It is fun to
Yeah.
study how different people of the world celebrate the dead and construct the netherworld.
Mhm.
But I also really love Coco, and
Yeah.
'tis the season
That
for
is a great
Coco.
movie.
That is a great movie, and kind of explains a lot of all that.
Well, isn't it like a lot of you were talking about the Dow? I mean, like people have those. I have one of those little houses from Thailand that my aunt got, where you put money and stuff in it for your relatives.
Yeah, somewhere I have a stack of hell money. It went
Oh, cool.
missing in the move. I think it's the same place as my beaver skull, my brown tarantula, and my centipede. Like
Ooh.
these are things that are missing from my move that we've never found.
Ah,
They've literally been spirited away. And but yeah, I had a big stack of hell money, and yeah, from Taiwan.
wow.
So shall
This
we
is
get
our
to
final
Shelley's?
story for tonight.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
And-
Before I read this, I just want to mention the show True Haunting on Netflix. Have you guys watched it?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Was I not supposed to sound like that?
No. What are your thoughts? I thought it was very interesting.
which one is that one?
The one about the kid in college that was being haunted.
I've interviewed him.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
When I did the show for the Paranormal View,
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed him. Now, I will say I have not watched his episodes
Okay.
because I've talked to him before.
Mhm.
Chris Desiree
Mm-hmm.
is his name. Then I watched the second two. Actually, I've watched the 4th episode. I have not watched the 5th.
Okay, of the haunted house.
Of the haunted house. And it reminds me a lot of the Schneidecker case in Connecticut. It's
Uh-huh.
A Haunting in Connecticut covers that case.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an Ed and Lorraine Warren case, one of
Mhm.
their final ones, I thought. That happened in the 80s. And the case that happened in this one seemed eerily similar to that one.
Okay.
I have not completed the episodes.
Okay.
Before I give my hot takes, why do you ask about True Haunting?
No, I was just going to recommend it. I thought it was interesting because you actually heard from the people it happened to.
I liked it because
Instead
it
of, like-
reminded me of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I don't know. It just seemed like whatever happened, it hit them hard. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's I don't so as somebody who grew up in a haunted house,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I didn't watch Chris's episodes because I've spoken to him before and I was
Mhm.
already familiar with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the second time it's been adapted into video,
Okay.
like for a documentary. either second or third time. So I'm super.
It was done well, I thought.
Yeah, I will say I'm not upset with how well they did these stories. With the haunted house one, at least the first episode, I will say I've only watched the first episode. I was like, "Oh honey, no, don't do that. Oh honey, no. Just give them I was literally kind of like with the 28 Days Haunted. I was screaming at the TV. We never did our drink and watch
one,
of that.
no, not that.
But
not it.
We need to do that.
This one is a little different than
this
that.
one's much better than that.
Yeah.
But I was just like, communicate with one another.
Yeah.
Just communicate. And also, I know on Reddit, the thread for True Haunting that talks about it is, oh, hello, misogyny. Like, that is what this case is called, because there's just a lot of bad assumptions being made. A lot, just this is my own personal interpretation. They shouldn't have been so upset about the line of work that she decided to do to make ends meet. And that is where a lot of their issues were stemming from. And
I didn't have a problem with that. It was the it's because they just weren't raised that way.
Yeah,
right?
and for those who are listening who have not watched these episodes, this case happened in Utah.
Yeah.
And it was a husband and wife, and the wife's 2 children from a previous relationship. And I will note that they never interviewed the older son. They always interviewed the younger son that this all happened to.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a red flag if not everyone in the family wants to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
I was just like,
okay.
why do these 3 want to talk about it but not that one? So,
What
but
does that usually indicate?
it
That it's
can
not
be
true?
interpreted. Well, it could be do that, or there's just a lot of trauma. They ended
Yeah.
up having a lot of trauma. They don't want to talk about it and open it up, or for religious reasons, they don't believe what their family experienced, or in high denial. So it could be interpreted in so many ways. I don't want to put my words in their mouth.
True.
I don't know.
Well,
But
I think they just were not aware of stuff.
I
like
actually looked up
a
how
haunting.
Mormons treat hauntings and ghosts, because I was
Mhm.
super interested as I'm watching this. I'm like, okay, the family is Mormon.
Mhm.
They are obviously not traditional Mormons that you
Mhm.
think of, especially with how, like, oh, what is it? There's like a Mormon housewife show on some
Oh
reality
yeah, that
network.
was like a thing.
Yeah, and so we're getting more exposure to Mormonism as a lifestyle and a belief cycle and everything. And I was really interested actually in hearing how they relate to the dead.
Mm.
And I guess it depends on who you're talking to, like everything. There's a lot of gray areas. Some people believe that they're just ghosts, that they're incarnate spirits of the dead that float around and you can talk to them. Okay. Others believe that all of them are demonic, or at least bad entities. I won't say demonic, but negative entities, and that negative things will happen in your life if you let them in. This family seems to be of the second thought process. And the trauma that happened on the property also wasn't great.
Yeah.
I know kind of what happened. I read ahead essentially to see what the trauma was, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot to unpack. This is a very scarred property, just like Saddamsville Rectory is a very scarred property. They tend to make terrible hauntings. So it's an interesting case study, but there is a lot of missing information.
Okay.
So
Finish it and then we should talk.
I do know, or somebody pointed out in one of the Reddit sub threads that the house that actually the house that's in the show is not anything what the actual house looked like.
Oh,
and like
was it reenactments?
Yeah, it's reenactment. So the house that's reenacted is this very Edwardian, late Victorian, neoclassical style brick house is actually located in Canada because it was shot in Canada. The real house, or the real suspected house, is a mid-century modern building that looks out at a cemetery. And none of that was ever brought up in the show.
No, it wasn't.
And I'm just like, well, huh. So that makes a few details are missing.
I'll
Okay.
have to see which one is this one again?
It's on Netflix. It's
True
called True
Haunting.
I don't know if I've watched it because there was some haunting show that I watched. I don't remember the name of it, and it was so bad I couldn't even, because it was like interviewing people, and it was like it made no sense the way, and it all played to. It was just so obviously fake that it was surprising that it was.
It's not this one.
Yeah,
no, this one.
No,
was
this one's
well put together.
reenactment. Yeah. Oh man, it's the same person I think that put together the haunting series. Why did his name just? I am now Googling it because I want to make sure. Not A Haunting in Venice. I haven't watched that yet. Well, so you ask a girl who used to be on all this paranormal stuff back in the 2010s. And okay, so James Wan is the producer of this, and he's a well-known horror producer. And didn't he did the Conjuring films.
Oh yeah.
He did Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. We'll forgive him for that one. But yeah, he does a lot of horror stuff, The Conjuring mostly, but Annabelle, demonic, Lights Out stuff. I like the producing and the directing of it. The stories I'm just not 100% sold on. But
okay,
like
well,
I
maybe
said, you asked the
should do an episode on it because I would like to hear what you thought of Chris too. Or we can talk about that offline.
Yeah, I haven't watched Chris's episodes. I'll have to rewatch. I'll have to not rewatch them. I'll have to watch it, just so I can remember. But yeah, he was a guest on the Paranormal View around 2012, 2013. It's the previous radio show I did for our listeners who don't know, and I was a host of it for 5 years, and he was a guest once or twice. Interesting story. It takes years, I think, to develop. It's it's an interesting story of collegiate haunting, basically, and possession.
Well, and this
all
is a
sorts of
good
stuff.
segue because this next haunting was from someone that was on our show from a haunted house from episode 98. So Shelley said she has a couple stories she can tell us, and this also takes place at the Ohio State Reformatory. So,
which we know well.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jen, let's get started.
All right. Picture it. Ohio State Reformatory 2000. I'm a 30-year-old tour guide working with crowds of ghost hunters crawling through the blocks.
I am one of those ghost hunters.
We hosted groups of around 150 in those days, and at a $50 a guest for an unchaperoned night in America's most haunted prison, it was a good deal. I can attest to that. I have been there multiple times.
Yeah.
We simply made sure each guest maintained decorum, our building was protected, and that unsafe areas remained sectioned off. Our nights began around 8 p.m. till 6 a.m. with a 12 a.m. lunch delivery of pizza. Oh, man, I remember these.
Yeah, I remember these.
Shelley, you might have been one of my tour guides. Ha! On a summer ghost hunt night, we had a smaller than usual guest list, about 60 or so people. Several dropped off before midnight, and by the time food arrived, we only had about 23 guests left. Once everyone had gathered in the East Admin, it was my responsibility to sweep the cell blocks for stragglers. I tagged my coworker Shawanda, and we made our way down East Block clear. As we cut through the bullpen to local control, we could hear men arguing up the tier. Shawanda yelled up, "You need to come down for food and head count." No reply. I followed with, hello? A man yelled back, hello! Shawanda says, come down, please. We need to group back together. Crickets. So as we often did, she took the back staircase and I took the front to sweep each tier and check for occupants. You'd think people wouldn't be so juvenile as to hide out in a cell to scare other guests. You'd think that. But I roll, so we start going door to door, and I have a story about that too that I've talked about before.
Yep.
Empty on first floors, empty on second, empty on third, right side. We get to the left side, and someone giggles. Shawanda and I emerge at either end of the hallway, flashlights ablaze, start walking toward one another, inspecting each cell. No one. We look at each other goose pimply and just as we turn to book it back down to the bullpen, a cell door just a cell door just behind us slammed. No living people were up there, and those cell doors were rusted open at the time. Thank you to everyone who that was the end.
That is me. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. I hate it when that happens.
That, they always said, do not shut those doors. We cannot get you out.
Yeah. I think there's only one that actually functions, and that's the display one.
Yeah.
Maybe the gold cell.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do not want you opening and closing those doors.
I didn't like going into the actual cells. It made me nervous.
I know I've mentioned this on the show, but the most haunting image I've ever had is looking up East Cell Block, looking up from the ground floor and seeing all the arms protruding out of the cells, just grabbing or making rude gestures or waving and all that stuff. And they are grabbing at clothes. They're doing whatever they can to get your attention. But I think something people forget is most of the people that stayed at Ohio State Reformatory were 14 to 24 years old.
Really?
Yeah. They were not old gentlemen. Now, in the 70s, a few prisoners from Ohio State Penitentiary were brought up when there was overcrowding. But for the most part, Ohio State Reformatory was meant for middle to high school aged boys.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
one, no wonder it was so productive back in the day. They could get out and work.
Yeah, they had a school. They had a large school. They even had a hospital where everyone was taught how to do a trade. A lot of it was woodworking. Could start medical practices, stuff like that. Like when I say medical practices, like you're learning how to be a nurse, how to suture things, like not an actual doctor. But they had a really nice library that's still intact. That did not get razed. It was a huge property. It has its own cemetery. It had its own farm. And that was the other thing. They could learn how to be farmers, essentially. And those were the types of people that lived there. They weren't just like when you go to Gettysburg or Antietam, most of the ghosts of soldiers you see are in their teens.
Wow.
And they're not old gentlemen.
Sad.
The officers were,
Yeah.
but not the actual fighters, not the soldiers. And so history is history. But I like Shelley's story. Thank you, Shelley. And you probably did show both Jen and I around the reformatory.
I think I went in, it was between 2000 and 2007.
I've not been there before. I want to go.
God, man, we should do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We should
One of
do
these days.
the ghost hunts. I don't know if they do them as long anymore, because I never made it past 3:00 in the morning because I always had to drive back home to here. I always wanted to stay till the 6 a.m., but I just never could.
I don't think I could do it.
Once out of the 3 times I was there.
Oh, you did do it.
I could do it now.
Yeah, you could. You could.
Yeah.
Because I stayed, I did it twice as just an attendee. basically. Indiana Ghost Trackers once did, or twice, rented the place for the entire night for just our teams.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
cool.
And so we did this private investigation, and that's when we had the screaming from the hole. And then on a different account, a different experience, we had a growl when we were going into
Mhm.
solitary. And my mom
Wow.
was with me and goes, Kate, don't go down there. And I'm like, I got to, Mom. I'm a ghost hunter. If they're growling at me, that means I got to go.
Yeah.
And then the last time was when I was writing Ohio's Haunted Crimes.
Mm.
And it wasn't a private hunt, it was a public hunt like the one that Shelley's describing. And that one also was quite spooky, but in different ways. That one didn't have as many ghosts popping up, not as many shadow men. So
Yeah. I had one, it was the last one I did. Christine was with me, and she
I
said
want to
she
go
had,
with Christine.
I know. That would be
she
great.
at the time did not, and I think I've talked about this before. At the time, I didn't know about her abilities really.
Yeah.
She didn't really let on much.
Ooh.
But she did feel a lot of, you know, hair pulling and poking
Yes.
and all of that. And I did see a shadow man on screen because there was a group of ghost hunters there in the warden's area where the staircase is.
Yeah, the
So
officers' quarters.
yeah, we were in, it might have been the warden's office, and they had their equipment set up, and there was a group of us watching it. You know, the hallway is pitch black, and just across the screen, you see a very tall shadow person walking across.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay.
Well, this was a great ghost story to end on, and we're going to be
Yes.
doing a part 2, but this is sort of a happy Halloween thing, right?
Yes, this is.
Yes, happy Halloween.
So I want to thank everyone who shared their ghost stories with us tonight. If you like to share stories and follow the show, you can find us at Hometown Haunts on Facebook or Hometown Haunts _podcast on Instagram, or another way on Blue Sky at hometownhaunts.bsky.social. And please leave a like and review on the show or for wherever you can find us. I know we're on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So other spooky lovers just like yourself can find us. So
Yeah. So happy Halloween.
happy Halloween, everyone. Say hi.
Safe.
Yes.
Yes. And stay spooky. Good night.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.